The most aggressive, unapologetically opinionated ingredient in modern food science is probably sitting in your pantry right now. It is shaped perfectly like a tin can.
Yeah, it is the ultimate example of consumer tunnel vision. We completely take it for granted.
Right, we usually assume its only job is to sit next to the turkey. We picture a secret weapon in the beverage world as something exotic.
Like a newly synthesized botanical cooked up in a lab.
Exactly, or some hyper-engineered sweetener. But in reality, one of the most reliable, heavy-hitting structural tools available to food formulators has been hiding in plain sight, just quietly waiting for November.
It is performing complex foundational work in the products we consume every single day.
And that brings us to the mission for today's deep dive. We are exploring a fascinating source provided by Puree titled From Massachusetts Bogs to Modern Beverages, The Story of Cranberry.
It's a great source.
It really is. Our goal for you today is to completely reframe how you think about this little red sphere. We're taking the cranberry out of the holiday side dish category, and looking at it through the lens of modern beverage formulation.
The shift in perspective happens the moment you start analyzing the mechanics of what this ingredient actually does on a chemical and structural level.
Not just what it tastes like.
Right, exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the very first thing the source makes crystal clear is that cranberries have never been a quiet fruit.
No, they definitely have not.
They are bold, they are bright, and as the text literally puts it, they have opinions. They do not just sit politely in the background of a flavor profile. They demand attention.
What's fascinating here is that the source text explicitly notes this isn't just an exercise in nostalgia. Like, yes, as America approaches its 250th birthday, the cranberry feels incredibly relevant as a native ingredient.
Sure, it has that historical charm.
But the food industry doesn't care about quaint historical artifacts. Manufacturers care about utility. The cranberry is a legacy ingredient doing highly modern structural work. It is an active participant in solving today's formulation challenges.
Let's start with where that aggressive personality is forged, because modern consumers, they don't just want a flavor profile in their drinks, they want a sense of place.
100%. Origin matters.
The source dives heavily into how Massachusetts cranberries come with this built-in story. They don't feel generic, they feel rooted.
Rooted is a great word for it.
Yeah, the text claims that local origin communicates sourcing transparency, ingredient integrity, American-grown appeal, and regional character. But I have to push back on this a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, is a cranberry puree really just a generic red fruit until you slap a Massachusetts label on it? Isn't emphasizing the origin just clever marketing to justify a premium price?
It is easy to dismiss it as marketing fluff, sure. But from a manufacturing and consumer psychology standpoint, origin is entirely functional.
Functional how?
Well, when a massive beverage brand commits to a formulation, their biggest enemy is variability.
Oh, like they need it to taste the exact same every single time.
Exactly. If they buy generic red fruit concentrate from anonymous global sources, the acidity levels fluctuate. The color degrades at different rates, and the sugar content is wildly unpredictable.
That sounds like a nightmare for a large-scale brand.
It is. When they source specifically from Massachusetts bogs, they are buying generational agricultural consistency. They are securing a predictable baseline of quinquinic and malic acids.
Okay, so it's like the difference between buying a bag of generic, unnamed coffee at the supermarket versus buying a single origin bean from a specific farm in Ethiopia. Knowing the origin grounds the product physically, not just emotionally.
That coffee analogy perfectly illustrates the concept of traceability. But we have to take that a step further into the concept of the clean label movement.
Which the source specifically highlights, right?
Yeah. A clean label isn't just about having fewer ingredients. It's about having ingredients the consumer recognizes and trusts.
Replacing synthetic additives.
Precisely. Historically, to get a bright red color and a sharp acidic bite in a beverage, formulators would just use artificial red dye and synthetic citric acid.
And consumers today, they will put that bottle right back on the shelf if they see those chemicals listed.
Oh, immediately. By utilizing a regional, origin-backed cranberry puree, the formulator achieves that vibrant red color and that sharp acidity naturally.
And the label just reads Massachusetts cranberry.
Which immediately signals authenticity. The source details how this origin identity plays a crucial role in cold-pressed juice blends, for example.
Because cold pressing avoids high-heat pasteurization, right, to protect those delicate flavor compounds.
Exactly. If a company is going through the immense trouble and expense of cold pressing a juice, Using a generic, highly processed concentrate would deceit the entire purpose.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
The Massachusetts origin story acts as a guarantee of the ingredient's integrity from bog to bottle.
So they aren't just buying the romantic idea of the bog, they are buying the physical consistency and the consumer trust that comes with it.
It solves a real-world labeling problem.
Which brings us to the actual mechanics of the fruit once it's inside the can. Why do manufacturers keep coming back to it over and over again?
Well, the source gets right to the point. In a beverage world completely saturated with soft, sweet, easy flavors, cranberry has a little backbone.
Backbone, I like that.
It brings three non-negotiable elements to a formulation: tartness, color, and structure.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. When the text was describing how cranberry provides backbone and sharpens the finish of a drink, it made me think about music production.
Oh, music production. How so?
Well, tartness in a beverage is like the bass line in a song. It doesn't politely wait to be noticed, it thumps right in.
I see where you're going with this.
Right, but it gives the sweet, high-pitched melody actual structure so the whole song doesn't become overwhelming or cloying. Without the bass line, the melody just floats away into the sugary, chaotic mess.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, and if cranberry is the bass line, the food scientists are the audio engineers trying to mix the track perfectly.
Yeah, that is exactly it.
They aren't trying to make a song that is entirely bass, just like they aren't usually trying to make a drink that tastes purely like cranberry juice.
Right.
The question they ask in the lab is, how do we use this fruit's chemical profile to make the whole product better?
They are using it as a structural tool. Let's dig into the chemistry of that bass line.
Sure.
How exactly does cranberry balance sweetness and prevent a drink from feeling syrupy or heavy on the palate? Like, what is physically happening in your mouth?
It comes down to the specific cocktail of organic acids native to the fruit, primarily malic acid and quinic acid.
Okay, those are doing the heavy lifting.
Right. When you take a sip of a commercially sweetened drink, sucrose or fructose molecules coat your palate.
And if there's no counterbalance,
That sugar lingers. It creates a heavy, sticky mouthfeel that formulators call cloying.
which nobody wants.
No, nobody. The acids in cranberry physically interrupt that process. They trigger an immediate physiological response in your salivary gland.
Wait, so it actually makes your mouth water.
Literally. This fresh rush of saliva washes away the lingering sugars, which creates what the text calls a sharpened finish.
The drink suddenly feels crisp and clean, rather than heavy.
Exactly.
It makes the beverage feel more alive. It wakes up your palate for the next sip. But the text also mentions it creates necessary contrast. I imagine that using something this aggressive is actually a massive formulation challenge.
Oh, it is. It's an incredibly high-wire act.
Because if this fruit has so many opinions, what happens when a formulator gets the mix wrong? It can't be easy to work with.
If you push the cranberry concentration even a fraction of a percent too high, you don't just get a drink that is too sour, you trigger astringency.
Astringency, that's the drying out feeling, right?
Yes. Cranberries contain tannins similar to red wine or black tea. When introduced to the palate in high concentrations, these tannins bind to the proline-rich proteins in your saliva.
Okay, and then what?
They essentially pull those proteins out of solution.
Which literally dries your mouth out. It feels like your tongue is turning into sandpaper.
Exactly the opposite of the refreshing, saliva-inducing effect they're aiming for. When a formulation goes wrong, the beverage becomes a mouth-puckering, astringent disaster.
The consumer takes one sip, their palate completely shuts down, and they never buy the product again.
That is why cranberry is a tool that requires immense precision. Formulators rely on its aggressive nature, but they have to harness it flawlessly to improve the drinkability without crossing the line into astringency.
That context completely changes how I view the ingredient. It's not just a flavor, it's a highly volatile structural pillar.
Yeah, it really is.
But if cranberry is such a powerful, essential tool for food scientists, why do we constantly stereotype it? Why is it trapped in the seasonal box of winter holiday parties?
Well, the seasonal trap is a powerful phenomenon driven by decades of marketing conditioning. We have been trained to associate its vibrant red color and its harvest timeline with autumn menus.
Holiday cocktails, heavy winter meals, all that stuff. The source acknowledges those incredibly strong fall associations, but then it pivots hard into the reality of modern year-round applications.
Yeah, the scope is way broader now.
We're talking about summer spritz-style, ready-to-drink beverages, the RTDs you see in coolers everywhere.
Functional wellness drinks, too.
Right, and fruit-forward brewing and fermentation, plus the massive movement of low and no alcohol drinks, often called mocktails.
The mocktail application is perhaps the most brilliant modern use of the cranberry.
Wait, really? Why mocktails specifically?
To understand why, we have to look at what alcohol actually does in a traditional cocktail. Ethanol is a solvent, but physically it provides a structural bite.
It gives you that slight burn and warmth?
Yes, it stimulates the trigeminal nerve in your face.
Which signals to your brain that you are drinking something complex and adult, not just a juice box.
Precisely. When you remove the ethanol to create a non-alcoholic beverage, you don't just lose the buzz, you lose the structural pillar of the entire drink.
So you're left with a massive sensory void.
And the remaining ingredients often collapse into flat, one-dimensional sweet juice.
Which is why so many mocktails just taste like fruit punch.
Exactly. Formulators desperately need an ingredient that can step in and mimic that complex bite. Cranberry's combination of sharp acidity and mild tannic astringency fills that structural void perfectly.
Oh, wow. So it provides the necessary friction that adults look for in a cocktail.
Right, without needing to shout its own flavor name.
Let's talk about the functional wellness category the source mentions, because that term gets thrown around a lot.
It definitely does.
We're talking about drinks that claim to do double duty, like hydration plus antioxidants or digestion support. Why is cranberry popping up so frequently in that specific aisle?
In the wellness beverage space, consumers are actively moving away from empty calories. They want a drink that signals efficacy.
And cranberry signals efficacy.
Interestingly, human psychology plays a massive role here. We subconsciously associate slightly tart, bitter, or astringent flavors with medicinal or health benefits.
Because it doesn't taste like candy.
Exactly. Because cranberry is inherently tart, it tastes functional.
It tastes like it's doing something.
Right. Combine that psychological signal with the fruit's actual scientifically proven nutrient profile,
Yeah.
like being high in antioxidants and vitamin C.
Which is a huge selling point.
Exactly. And it provides a massive halo effect for the entire product.
But this brings up the most pressing formulation question from the text. If cranberry is this intense, astringent, highly acidic powerhouse that mimics the bite of alcohol, how do beverage makers actually use it in a light, breezy summer spritz?
It is a delicate balancing act.
Because you don't want a refreshing summer drink that makes your face pucker up. How do they calm it down?
It all comes down to pairing logic. The source emphasizes that cranberry, despite its bold opinions, is an exceptional collaborator.
It plays nicely with others.
He really does.
Yeah.
It works best when it has a specific job to do alongside other ingredients that buffer its intensity. The text outlines a whole roster of pairings designed to manipulate how the human palate perceives the cranberry's acid spike.
So how does the chemistry of a pairing actually work? Let's take blueberry, which the text mentions. How does adding a blueberry soften the aggressive tartness of a cranberry?
It is an exercise in masking.
Masking.
Yeah. Blueberry possesses a deep, heavy sugar profile with significantly lower acidity. When a formulator pairs the two, the fructose and glucose molecules from the blueberry physically coat the taste receptors on your tongue first.
Okay, so it creates a buffer.
Exactly. It delays the perception of the malic and quinic acids from the cranberry.
So you still get the bright structural lift of the acid, but the sharp, aggressive edge is blunted by the heavier, darker sugars of the blueberry.
That's it perfectly. And the same principle applies to cherry pairings.
So the darker fruits act as a buffer, allowing the cranberry structure to exist without burning out the palate. What about the other end of the spectrum? The text mentions pairings like lime, pear, ginger, and warm spices.
Those pairings serve an entirely different functional purpose. Instead of masking the acidity, ingredients like lime or ginger are used to accentuate and modernize it.
Oh, so leaning into the sharpness.
Right. Lime brings its own citric acid, which is sharper, and hits the front of the palate instantly.
Whereas cranberry's malic acid lingers a bit longer.
Exactly. By combining them, the formulator creates a multidimensional tartness that feels incredibly crisp and bright.
Which is perfect for a summer spritz.
Absolutely. Ginger, on the other hand, brings a spicy chemical heat. When paired with cranberry's tannic bite, it creates a sophisticated botanical profile.
That works exceptionally well in complex adult beverages.
It's a very elegant solution.
It's all about choosing the right dance partner. Depending on the supporting cast, the formulator can push the cranberry to be classic and sweet with apple, clean and sharp with lime, or highly modern and botanical with ginger.
It proves just how versatile this ingredient is.
It isn't stuck in the past, and it certainly isn't trapped in a Thanksgiving side dish. It is a dynamic working tool in today's most innovative beverage categories.
It is a masterclass in utilizing native agriculture to solve contemporary food science problems. The cranberry is doing the heavy lifting to keep our shelves stocked with clean labels, vibrant colors, and balanced flavor profiles.
So, what does this all mean for you listening to this deep dive? I think the absolute core takeaway from Puree Ariti's source material is that the cranberry is a covert workhorse.
It really is.
The next time you are enjoying the sunshine and you crack open a refreshing, perfectly balanced, ready to drink summer spritz, or you order a complex, zero proof mocktail at a bar, or grab a functional wellness drink after a workout, take a second to look at the ingredients label.
You might be surprised at what you see.
You are very likely going to find this bold, opinionated little fruit quietly doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes to keep the finish of your drink crisp, clean, and completely alive.
This raises an important question to leave you with, looking beyond the scope of today's source.
Oh, I love a good hypothetical.
If the cranberry's greatest superpower is its unapologetic, aggressive tartness, a seemingly difficult trait that actually holds the key to cutting through an overly sweet, highly processed beverage world.
Right. What else is out there?
Exactly. What other highly intense native ingredients have we sidelined? What other forgotten elements of our food heritage, currently dismissed as too bitter, too sour, or too complex, are just sitting there waiting for modern science to realize they hold the exact structural solutions we need?
It definitely makes you wonder what other secret weapons are hiding in the pantry, waiting for us to remember how to use them. Keep exploring those ingredient labels, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.